I've been starting a new process where I'm trying to earn some extra cash. And I found a way to do this, which is pretty popular on the internet these days. And there's lots of people out here that explain how to do it. It's called bank churning. And what you do is you create new checking accounts or savings account or investment accounts. You follow certain requirements and then they give you a bonus. So as you can see here, there's an article here about bank churning. You can see how people earn hundreds of dollars. Um, you can read through here and see why it works. Impressive numbers behind bank churning. I started this recently and I have made a couple $100 very easily. It takes a little bit of time because you have to apply for a new checking account, is where I've been primarily focusing. Of course, you have to get approved for that checking account, and then usually there's some sort of requirements that you have to follow in order to get get the bonus paid out to you. And after that, what I usually do is after I get the bonus, I don't need an extra checking account, so I go ahead and close them. And so far, it's netted me a few $100, and let's see how to do that. One of the popular sites here is called Doctor of Credit, as you can see, and there's a lot of information here about the beginner's guide to bank account bonuses, which is what we're calling bank churning. And you can see here that they go through the requirements and how easy to meet them. Most of these require a direct deposit. And because of that, you have to have one of two things, from what I understand. That is a payroll deposit where you work at, a direct deposit into that account. Or if you have a business account, you can use a transfer from your business account into your checking account. Every bank is going to have different rules, so you have to read on each one to see how it works. As you can see here, you can avoid fees. You have to read everything because sometimes there's early account termination fees or miscellaneous fees or monthly fees. So you have to be wary of that. And you can see here the site here for Doctor of Credit. They have lots of listing here as well as other sites. I did find a couple others out here, but if we go to Doctor of Credit, you can look up right here there's a pull down here for the bank accounts, and you can see the best bank account bonuses. And when you go here, here's an article right here that says the best ones for May of 2025. So you can go through here. Chase has an opportunity for 900. US Bank has an opportunity for 450, and on you can just go down. Another thing I'll mention is if you already have a checking account. So for example, I already have a checking account at Wells Fargo. That's my main account. I can't usually go for a new bonus. They usually require you to start with a brand new account. So that's part of the rules that we'll go over that I'll show you here in a second. I was also going to mention, here's an article here from CNBC that they also tell you where's the best checking account bonuses of May 2025. So you can see here, here's the ones that they're recommending. Also, some of these, if you look at the requirements, you have to be local. I won't look into these, but I remember I looked at CIT Bank, which is not listed here, but maybe M&T Bank. You might have to be in a certain state in order to qualify those, so you have to pay attention to what those might be. Also, you can see here's the CNET website that also talks about which banks you can look at to get bonuses. So there's quite a few here, and you can just read through them and decide how they work. So for example, we'll take a look at one so you can see what the requirements are. As an example, here's Capital One, and here's their bonus offer. You can earn $250 with a brand new 360 checking account. So you can open now, and you can see here's the requirements. You open the 360 checking with the promo code, get direct deposits, and here they're saying you need 2 direct deposits of $500 or more within 75 days of opening the accounts, and then your $250 bonus will be deposited into your account after you complete the steps. And then you always want to read the fine print. So in this case, let's look at the small print here so we can see exactly what's done. Again, right here, you open up the account on or after this date. This one's been around for a while. Set up to receive 2 qualifying direct deposits, and the qualifying again is where you need to either be well, here it goes into it. The qualifying deposit is periodic payment, such as a salary, pension or government payments, or an ACH, automatic or real-time payment network credit from your employer or outside an entity not affiliated with Capital One Bank prior to January 1st of 2025. And you can see here that a payment from your employer, that's why if you have a business account, this will qualify if you're self-employed. You can see here, it lays out the steps very clearly, just what we talked about earlier. and then it tells you that your bonus payout period will be 60 days after you meet the requirements. And so what you would do is you would just follow the link up here at the very top, open now, and it would guide you through the process. Um, again, if you have login, you can do that or not. I'm not going to go through this process because I already created this, but that is how you get started, and then you keep track of what you do. Let me show you how I keep track. Here is a spreadsheet that I'm using to track my bake bonuses. I've tried a couple different ones, but this one is the most simplified, and it works with what I'm doing. So you can see here, I've been doing this for a while. I've done this, made some money on a few of these. One I actually failed, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then I have two that are open right now because now that I'm used to it, I do two at a time. And here's the 360 checking that we just looked at. But what you can see here is I keep track of the bank, what the status is, the account type. Right now I'm just focusing on checking, but there's other accounts you can do. And then I get the account name, bonus potential, and then I track of what date did I open it, what date did I complete the deposits, what date did I get the bonus, and when did I close it. And then I go into other details such as what are the requirements in order to get the deposits, what's the time frame, and here's eligibility. So if we look at some of these accounts like this one, you can repeat and do the same one, but you have to wait for 2 years. This one is 1 year, and this one is also 1 year. And then here's the fees. I did do one that had a 25 monthly fee as a gamble. This is the one I messed up on because if we look at this one, I did not do it right because I had to deposit $7,500 within 90 days. And what happened was my last paycheck fell outside of that 90 days. So instead of getting the $500 bonus, I got nothing because I didn't do it properly. So just an example of how that works. Then there's special terms here of what you need to do to follow it. And then I keep track of the routing and account numbers. And then there's also referral links that you can help other people with, and they can also make that money. Now, the one I've got open right now is Capital One. We talked about this already with the 360 checking. This is going to be $250, and I have the open date. I just completed the date here, so I will follow up on it, and I already got notice that the bonus is going to be paid. I'm just waiting for that to be paid, so I will finish this off. One last thing that I did forget to mention earlier, and because these are checking accounts, they do perform a soft pull on your credit. So like I said, you need to be eligible to open up a checking account or you won't be able to even start. It doesn't affect your credit because it is a soft pull, and they use a slightly different variation of credit checking when you open up accounts versus when you're applying for credit. So far I've not had any problems, and hopefully you won't either. One other note is sometimes they'll also accept Venmo, PayPal, or other Cash App services or something like that, but you do have to read the requirements, and they'll spell it out directly for you what qualifies and what does not. And one last tip is if you are going to use a business account to transfer money, make sure you put a note in there, something that says payroll or something like that, so that it's traceable and they can also validate what it's for. Anyway, I hope that is a great introductory of how this works, and let me know how it worked for you.